In three, two, now. Welcome.
Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about support characters in the Power Rangers universe. Do mentors count as support characters, or
Okay.
are they in their own category?
So I had to come up with like 3 or 4 different categories when I was going over like support characters too. But the ones I basically grabbed are the ones that directly help the Rangers and knowingly help the Rangers.
Directly and knowingly. Okay.
Yes.
I have some top picks, and then I just kind of wrote down as many as I could think of.
So character like Alpha and Circuit, right? They
Mhm.
are support characters. They knowingly help the Ranger and they're always there.
So,
Yes, they count, but everyone knows they're automatically going to be there part of the team. So, like the stable characters that are already assumed that are going to help. And then you got the ones that knowingly help the Rangers. And then you got the ones that accidentally help the Rangers. So, I'm like, how many supporting characters can we go through?
I got stuck on Bulk and Skull because there are absolutely episodes where Bulk and Skull knowingly witness the Rangers in turmoil and actively put themselves in danger to go and help them and succeed in helping them. It's like 3 times out of 5 years of them harassing the Rangers.
That's not good odds at all. But
But
if you go with the comic logic, when they morph, they actually help the Rangers there too, but then I'll wipe their mind. So, like, they will help if they need to.
I kind of hesitate to say they're good dudes because if you go rewatch like the pilot episode of Mighty Morphin, it's bad. That first scene that they're in, it hurts. It hurts to watch. But it was the 90s.
Hey, remember when they were cops?
Most absurd, morally reprehensible plotline in Power Rangers ever. They're like bullies in high school who become cops to pick up chicks.
Bullies going to power to pick up chicks. I mean, that's awful, honestly.
I mean, it's pretty accurate to kind of how the world works, but it certainly doesn't make you want to like them as characters.
Not at all, but somehow they became the lovable goof. Like, I still love them.
I'm going to blame the actors for that.
And their fan service afterwards, they will talk for hours in line with any fan, like just about stuff. They love it.
I love those guys.
Let's go chronologically and see who we can come up with per season. So, like, we just had Bulk and Skulk and we just did Alpha. So, like, who else can you
Ninjor.
think of? Well, yeah, Ninjor is definitely one. Definitely
And
gave them.
Ernie. I mean, he gives some like helpful advice a couple times. He never like physically directly intervenes with a
No.
catastrophe.
You don't actually have to physically do anything to help someone. Sometimes it could just be advice. Sometimes it could be tech, like Billy. Billy was on the team, so he's not a supporting character because he's the main character. But like,
I put Billy though because technically in Zeo, Billy is a supporting character because he's not
that
arranged
is
for the entire
true.
season. And at that point, he is like maximum Billy potential. He is probably one of the best supporting characters in the entire show.
You're right. He is a supporting character in Zeo. And then if you go down the line to Cosmic Fury, he's another supporting character, then turn back to Ranger as well. Lerigot, does that count?
I wrote down Lerigot and Dulcea, integral parts of the plot, both very helpful, but alternate universe.
I'm not too big on Turbo because I've only watched that season like twice through.
Blue Senturion, my
We
boy.
got him, Phantom Ranger and Magna Defender as well.
I was a diehard, he's not a Power Ranger. That was my whole thing because they don't specifically say that he's drawing energy from the grid. He doesn't have a morpher and we don't see him out of the suit. However, in Once and Always, when Rita's getting all the Rangers to draw energy from the grid through them, he's in her machine, which I think disqualifies him from the support character list because he's a Power Ranger.
There are people who draw a lot of grid energy that aren't Power Rangers.
Do not feed the demons in my heart. I've gotten in so many arguments with people about this. I'm like, he's not. He's a Phantom Ranger, not a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
When Zordon and Alpha 5 leave and they're replaced by Alpha 6 and Dimitria, it's basically like Zordon and Alpha say to the Rangers, oh, you guys thought we were bad because we withhold information and manipulate you. It can get worse. And it will get worse. Here's a woman who's completely unhelpful and just speaks in abstract, confusing nothingness, and an incredibly rude robot that will actively bully you in a place where you're supposed to be safe.
It's not going to help you in any way.
He's only going to be mean to you all the time.
It builds character. It helped them progress.
In space, when they change his voice, he gets like a surprise personality transplant, and you're supposed to like him now because he starts acting like Alpha 5. I will never forgive him. I don't care how nice he is in space.
I don't know. I don't know why they did that random in between phase.
I feel like you watch Turbo and you just kind of see the wheels turning of like everything is a ratings grab.
Yo, yo, yo! Let's give you a robot that's an asshole.
So awful. And Dimitria, they're like, she's from a planet where you only speak in rhyme. And then she makes it, I think it's either episode 9 or episode 11. She just stops speaking in rhyme because obviously it wasn't working.
I'm going to have to go back to that, but that sounds hilarious. There's an excellent explanation for that power.
Gosei is being held personally responsible for answering all of these questions. I'm gonna message him. Why did Dimitria start speaking normally? Maybe she was affected by Earth's atmosphere, or she picked up slang from the Rangers, or
well, it only takes you but so long to, I guess, assimilate into society. So I mean, she's like, maybe not the rhymes. Maybe let's keep it normal. But let's just do it abruptly.
They never really implied that it was a physical necessity for her to speak in rhyme. It may have just been cultural. So we answered it. There you go. She just switches to the normal dialect of an American teenager because she's blending. Oh, D.E.C.A.
And I have the turtles. So D.E.C.A, yes, definitely a supporting character. D.E.C.A does get sassy in so many episodes.
I get so pissed off when I think about D.E.C.A because in the end of Lost Galaxy, when the Astro Megaship gets blown up, they go out of their way to go rescue Alpha 6, and then they just totally let D.E.C.A get blown up.
You can't back her up to a hard drive or anything?
Stick a flash drive in the mega ship and download her. Like, she has the same level of sentience as him. The turtles are. You need to rewatch that episode.
This is one of my favorite crossovers besides Forever Red and Once a Ranger. Like, the turtles is great. They just come out of nowhere, honestly, and it doesn't really explain where they come from. They're just like, yo, you need some help?
I love to think about someone A, learning that there's a crossover between Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then B, seeing it or seeing pictures from it and just looking at Venus and being like, who the fuck is that?
Why? Yeah, I actually showed someone that the other day and they're like, there was a crossover of this? When did this happen? And what is that? Who's this turtle? I've never seen this before.
I actually found a DVD in like a discount DVD bin of the first 6 episodes of that show with her in it. So I knew who she was when I watched that episode. And I was like, how many people actually know that there was a live action season of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with a new 5th turtle who is a girl?
Not many, actually. There's not a lot of people who know much about the Ninja Turtles, which is sad because like they're so popular. The only thing people really know about the turtles is that they're turtles and they're ninjas.
I am always amazed that people don't know which weapon, which color, and which name go together because that's very important to me. Donatello is purple and he has a staff. I guess it is kind of confusing if you're not oddly obsessed with the turtles because of the movie from the 90s.
Go Ninja, go Ninja. I was obsessed with it when I saw that movie. So to know they have a Power Ranger crossover is even better. And then to know they had it in the comics too. Someone just sent me a file for the Blue Ranger Ninja Turtles that I may or may not print at some point. Well, Karone wasn't supporting in space, but in Lost Galaxy, yes.
But she's a ranger in Lost Galaxy, so I almost feel like that doesn't count. So then the Magna Defender is definitely a supporting character in Lost Galaxy. And then Commander Stanton of GSA kind of counts, but I feel like he never actively tries to help them.
I was looking over that and I watched a couple episodes to see how much he was helpful to them. He really wasn't trying to actually help them. He was trying to do the job, but like they just happen to be there and help with it.
Yeah, they're more supporting him than he is supporting them. It occurred to me that there's no mentor in Lost Galaxy, and I guess there's really not one in space either. But for some reason, that was a revelation because I just assumed every season had a mentor, but then neither does Time Force. And I kind of like started to freak myself out. I was like, isn't there
so would you then default the mentor to like what? Say D.E.C.A, in space Lost Galaxy, you would.
Yeah, there really isn't anybody
in Lost Galaxy.
They're just
and then Time Force, I guess the captain that's in the future that they every radio to every once in a while, and then you got Circuit.
Yeah, I usually assumed Circuit was the mentor in Time Force, but he almost takes up a really different role because he's not as much telling them what to do, but he is their connection to the future and kind of the one that gives them orders and information. So, and then. Right? I was
I'm still thinking about Lost Galaxy, and I'm trying to go over it. And like, really, is there really no mentor already? They just pulled up swords and just winged it. The Rock is the mentor. Pick me up and save the day.
maybe the Rock really is like a true, authentic Power Rangers mentor. It's just they don't speak Rock. So it's very frustratedly being like, no, do it this way. Oh my God. Combine them to get the power up. And they're just like, doo-doo-doo.
Maybe the mentor was the thoughts they had along the way.
Yeah.
So we have several things in Lightspeed. We have Miss Fairweather. She is very, very crucial. Not only is she a supporting character, she didn't fight, but there was an episode where she helped when the demons broke into the Aqua Base. She kind of delayed them so they can defeat Olympus. And I don't remember how she did that, but she did get injured when that happened. She did kind of save the day in that aspect. And then she also was the creator of all their tech. Like, it's kind of amazing because like without her, the Rangers couldn't even Ranger.
Yeah. She does the Zords and the Morphers. She's like Billy level.
Not just like one set, not even two sets. It's like 4 sets of Lightspeed Rescue Zord, and it's insane.
I do wonder about Miss Fairweather's mental stability because she had the idea of the best way to deploy this Zord is to shoot a train into the air over the city and just pray that it gets together before it like crushes something.
I'm sure she's pretty smart, so she probably did the calculations and the math and said, how fast do I have to shoot this in the air for everyone to like for it to combine back together? Because if you think about it, right, everything has to combine anyway. If you use the logic of like, I guess, gravity and pulling force, if you try and assemble it all on the ground, it's going to take a little bit longer. But if you can use gravity from the sky and everything falls together, it is just click in if you do it correctly. So it's probably like a hyper way of deploying the Zord.
Maybe it was too heavy to do it on the ground. That is like a really bulky Zord.
They probably couldn't stand up, honestly. If they did it flat, it probably couldn't stand up.
It's like a turtle. I wrote down with a question mark the mermaid, whose name I do not remember.
I hate that episode so much with
I love
Chad.
it.
They're trying to drown the mermaid. How is that going to work?
It's a stupid plan.
And then Chad jumped in to save her, and I'm like, why? She's a mermaid in water.
Her name's Marina? Is that it?
Yeah.
They save her. She doesn't do anything to help them, does she?
No.
No. Okay. So nice to see Chad actually get a lady after going through all the effort of trying to figure out how to pick up chicks.
I was like, maybe Chad and like the other chick, and I was like, nope, she's definitely not coded for Chad at all. Maybe coded for Dana.
They were roommates.
They were roommates.
They were literally roommates, but you know they were roommates. Captain Mitchell definitely counts.
Oh yeah, Captain Mitchell for sure.
Captain, I am a really bad driver, Mitchell.
Captain, I'm a really bad driver and I make some really bad decisions, but you know, it's okay. I can get over it.
That flashback where Ryan gets taken and he says, I only looked away for a second, and they show him and he's like, you're on the freeway in the middle of the night and it's raining and you just look in the back seat for 5 to 7 seconds. Yeah. He needs to have his license taken away. I mean, shouldn't he be glancing? Glance.
Yeah.
Glance.
You know? You have a rear view mirror that like you can just take your eyeballs and aim up.
What a guy, Captain Mitchell. Time Force.
Westad, Eric, you can count the whole Silver Guardians.
I wrote down Time Force dudes and forgot to write down the Silver Guardians.
They could be considered supporting characters because, like, at first they were their own thing, but like after they realized the Rangers were helping and whatnot, they're like, back them up.
I don't know. I feel like Mr. Collins and the Silver Guardians almost were really antagonistic. Like, does Mr. Collins ever help them on purpose? There's an episode where Wes steals money from him to pay a ransom, and he makes weapons and like this big tank thing. I almost feel like he wants the Rangers to stop. He's like that guy. He's saying, oh, you guys are vigilantes and I'm going to take over, because Eric is running the Silver Guardians. There's so much conflict between the Rangers and the Guardians where they're at the same place trying to do the same thing, yelling at each other.
So there's so many layers to that season. If you watch it from the beginning, right, at first the Silver Guardians absolutely hate the Rangers, and it's not until before Eric gets his power, they go to a kind of like a lenient midway point where they're like, okay, to actually get some stuff done, we have to help them. And then Eric goes all aggro and gets the power, and he's like, we don't need them at all anymore.
That guy needs therapy a lot.
And it's crazy to me that like him and Wes kind of grew up together. I mean, clearly different money wise and social classes. So for him to be so angry the entire time made no sense to me.
Here's the thing, like if Wes was really kind of a dick, I get like having a chip on your shoulder about someone having privilege, but it's really almost the other way around. Like we see that flashback to where Wes gets invited invited to a yacht party and Eric doesn't. And then Wes is straight up just like, I don't want to go if Eric can't come. And then he's trying to hang out with Eric and be his friend. And Eric's just having this internal monologue about how much he hates him.
And like, you got money and you got privilege. And he's like, no, man, just hang out with me. I hate you.
Exactly. Wes is like a freaking puppy dog. He's the nicest guy, and Eric is so angry at him. Eric's super upset that Wes doesn't take advantage of his connections as a rich guy, but I would think if that's what you're upset about, why aren't you taking advantage of having a connection to Wes? You had a rich friend, he might be able to get you things. For instance, a job with his father's company. But no, he gets that on his own.
He could help you, and you're upset that he's not taking advantage of rich people things. I get where he's coming from in that aspect, but at the same time, Wes is, like you said, a puppy dog. Like, he's kind of like a golden retriever. I want to do the good things. I don't need to take advantage of these rich people things. I don't need to go party on yachts and buy $1 million mansions. And Eric's like, yeah, you do. You have the opportunity, so take it.
Alex is also technically a supporting character in Time Force because he sends back the Time Shadow. But he's such a jerk that I almost don't want to give him credit for helping them.
I mean, you can be a jerk and still help, I guess.
Yeah, he's begrudgingly helping them. It was having an interesting conversation with someone about Jen and Alex's relationship. It seems really weird that he's really nice in the first episode and then he's such a jerk later.
There's a clone of him talking to his girl.
But also, like, everything's going his way in episode 1. And then I feel like he's the kind of personality that's like such a perfectionist when anything isn't treating him like the most important character and everything going exactly how he wants it and he's in total control. He's just going to be a jerk to everybody. And I really feel like Jen dodged a bullet there. That was not going to be a good marriage.
No, that doesn't sound conducive at all. It's not going my way anymore. I'm angry. If there was a clone of me at some point and they're like, hey, I'm going to talk to the girl you like, I'd be like, what the hell, man?
In Wes's defense, they thought he was dead.
When I first watched Time Force and I saw Alex show back up, I swore Wes was Alex, just somehow time travel funkiness. And that's was when I watched it when I was a kid. I was like, because it's Time Force. And he came back and it's the same guy.
That would be interesting if he was like playing everybody. He didn't really die. And then he went back in time to pretend to be Wes to like motivate them to do a good job and become a good team. That would be some crazy stuff.
And then I actually get to the end of the season. And I'm like, nope, these are two separate people.
I love Time Force.
One of the best seasons, honestly.
I think it's in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah, even though SPD is cops, that's also my top 5.
I know. It's just really well written. Freaking immigration cops.
They did a lot better job at being immigration cops than regular cops would ever, honestly. Because like they didn't harass all the aliens when it came down. Like Piggy. Piggy was chill. Like they gave him crap every once in a while because he was Piggy. but they didn't just go around and go, hey, give me all your identifications.
But that could be going on behind the scenes because, you know, when they show up to Piggy's cafe, all the aliens run away. And then Piggy's got to explain, like, to them, you guys are bad. Are SPD officers going around town harassing all the aliens? I think probably.
Yeah, actually, that makes more sense. And I blame Time Force, mainly Eric, and his ability to not be friendly to aliens.
Eric wrote the rule book, and it was like, if they're not human, shoot them. That's the whole book. Then you got Wild Force.
Princess Shayla, of course, but I wrote Animus because I was like, he does help a lot.
I mean, he's a god. I wrote down Willie of Willie's Roadhouse because he gives Merrick a place to live. But I really feel like that was wasted potential of a side character, honestly. The first episode where Merrick goes into his roadhouse and he's kind of like, here's some food. How you doing, man? Like, you want a place to live if you help me out around here? And I was like, this is going to be a great side character. Merrick's all emotionally constipated and Willie will be the like good angel on his shoulder who talks him down every once in a while. And then he's barely ever in it again.
They introduce small side characters, then give them nothing. And I get it for plot's sake, but come on.
If a side character is cool, I want to see him more. I liked Willie. I was thinking about the tradition in Power Rangers of having the non-villain antagonistic characters like Bulk and Skull, and really kind of realizing that they're pretty much only in seasons where they're in high school because they're the bullies in the high school. I'm sad they don't have that in more stuff. Like kind of in Mystic Force, Lily fills that part because she just comes and hangs out in the record store and messes with them. And then in Beast Morphers, Ben and Betty are kind of that archetype, though they're more helpful
comedic. They're more of a comedic relief, but I love Ben and Betty.
Yeah, Ben and Betty are amazing. Man, the thing that's really missing for me about Wild Force, they don't go to like a job or a hangout place and have other characters they interact with as civilians who make fun of them. And that's a really big part of character development that I was missing.
Because yeah, it's pretty much all just on the animarium or just like fighting orgs. You'll have them do some stuff occasionally, but I don't really see, besides the first couple episodes, Cole have any more like story building until the end.
Yeah, it's pretty much Danny interacts with the woman from the flower shop that he likes, and then like his rival Guy. But out of all of them, he's probably the one who interacts with people off the island the most. I mean, Alyssa goes to school, but none of the people in her school really have personalities or screen time or dialogue. Yeah, as the seasons go on and we get into like the Neo Saban Hasbro era, I feel like it goes from like 2 characters, 5 characters to like 12 support characters.
Yeah, because they need to distract the story a little bit, you know? Take it away from the Rangers because they need the world build.
I like world building.
I like the world building that they started to do in Lightspeed Rescue, where the Rangers had an actual life beforehand. Ninja Storm. Cam was a supporting character before he became a Ranger. Clearly Sensei.
Kelly, Dustin's manager, and she owns the store. She's in it a lot.
She's a great character in it. You could say toward the end, Mariah and Kapri, like they switched and like, we're going to be helpful. Help you, cousin.
Yeah, his mom, when he time travels, pretty straightforward season.
The Thunder Bros, they were Rangers, so they're not technically supporting characters. And when they first got introduced, they were also a-holes. And then one was like, I'm going to like Tori. You know what? Maybe you guys aren't bad guys and we're just being tricked, which that's most of the time that happens with evil Rangers. They're being tricked.
I don't know. I feel like most of the time evil Rangers are under some sort of spell. Those guys are very unique in that Lothar just lied to them and they bought it.
They bought that hard. You don't see that these people are going around terrorizing other people with their minions. You think that they're the good guys.
How nice the Rangers are. And they have all those conversations where they're like, they seem kind of nice. No, they killed our parents. And I'm like, have you ever considered talking to them about it?
And then if they killed your parents, do you think of why it might have happened? If they seem to be doing good and they're really nice and somehow your parents got killed by them, asking why, you'll figure out that they didn't do it, for one. And 2, why would they do such a thing?
No, just try to kill Cam's dad instead. Good revenge,
right?
Right?
Little hamster bubble, keep them safe.
As much as the digital animation on the guinea pig is kind of horrible and shiny and flat, I still love it. Then we have Dino Thunder. I couldn't come up with a lot.
For sure, you have Hayley, you have Claire and Devlin.
I wrote them down. Devon and Cassidy. But they really only help right in the last episode.
Dr. Mercer, not Mesogog.
Does he help them?
He does help them when he can, and he gives messages until he turns back into Mesogog. He can't physically do things because Mesogog takes his body, but when he can do things in the background, he does.
And I guess technically Tommy's a support character for the first however many episodes because
he's a support character for the entire season, pretty much.
Well,
I really liked how they couldn't get his face on screen for most of it, so they just left him being a ghost. It's clever, but like at the same time, really?
He's frozen, and then he's trapped inside his suit, and then he's invisible, right?
That whole season in itself is just crazy. How they found the Dino Gems. What kind of unsecure facility do you have for people to just walk in and take super secret, powerful Dino energy gems and just walk out?
Well, and they take them for a school project. They walk into a secret underground laboratory, see shiny gems on top of a smoking stone altar, and they're like, this'll be good for my school presentation.
This looks like somebody's place.
Yeah.
You're not going to just go into somebody's place and take their stuff. There were lights on. You could see that there was no dust anywhere, which means someone lived or been there recently. I'm not going to walk into your house and say, this looks pretty nice. Let me just take it.
That's pretty in keeping with my opinion of the main 3 Rangers in Dino Thunder. They're not great people.
They all have their little, I'm surprised they get to work together as a team and it comes together in a whole unit. They weren't on the right path themselves. Kira was doing music and whatnot, but then she was kind of rebelling. And then you got Ethan also rebelling, setting off water sprinklers and stuff like that. And then you got Connor super rebelling and just wanting to do soccer.
Just being a jerk.
And then when they get together, they all work each other out to become better people.
Then you got SPD, Piggy, obviously.
Piggy. You got Boom.
Boom is one of my top picks for like best support character out of the entire franchise.
Yeah, out of the entire franchise, Boom has to be the best supporting character.
Cat Manx. He is a ranger, but it's only for 1 episode, so I feel like she still counts.
There's only one more. She definitely counts. Sidetrack. Miss Fairweather should have morphed at least once. That's where I'm going to end it.
Mm. I feel
But
that way
at
about
least
Dr.
once she
K.
should have been able to. That too. That too. She didn't have to go out and fight with the rest of the Rangers, but she should have had something for when they would came toward her. She could have just did that to protect herself. Just like Kat, where she had one more. She could have
Yeah.
did the same thing with Dr. K.
I would love a season where we bring back a bunch of mentors as a new Ranger team. How the universe has opened up with Cosmic Fury and knowing there are different Ranger teams on different planets and there's this like galactic structure of communication now. And if like Captain Mitchell at Dr. K and Miss Fairweather, and I mean Dr. K would have to come from an alternate dimension to do it, but she did that in Beast Morphers. That would be so good. I want a Pop Ranger.
Pop Ranger would be
Pop would be
great.
an amazing Ranger.
If the grid should have chose anyone, it should have been him for sure.
Pop and Solon would have been the best Rangers ever.
But I'm so glad she was able to like give a little bit of her energy to make a Ranger. So
Yeah.
that brings joy to my heart.
Honorary. I wrote down Birdie too for SPD. What is his rank?
Commander Birdie or Colonel Birdie.
Does he help? He kind of shows up and just kind of throws a wrench in everything.
It lists him under the Ranger Wiki as a supporting character, but is he? Or is he just kind of like a commanding officer who's like, hey, get it done?
He is the one who gives Kat the morpher. There's that C Squad android woman, and she's like hanging out with them, and then she's the key to some sort of something, and they have to go rescue her. I don't know if she really helps them with anything.
I remember that episode, kinda. She was basically trying to keep her androidness a secret. I can help. What do y'all have against androids?
Yeah, way to be super discriminatory, you guys.
Yeah,
You
no
liked her 10
androids.
minutes ago.
Yeah, you guys are fine with aliens now. Why aren't you fine with androids? And you're also fine with mutants because every single Ranger of the SVD team is technically a mutant.
Exactly.
That's probably what well, different dimension RPM, but like I can understand it a little bit.
RPM's just Terminator.
Terminator with Power Rangers and an angry dad who doesn't give his son recognition for anything.
That guy, Colonel Truman, he is just a ball of anger.
Between him and the dad and Beast Morphers, like, what's with them not wanting to recognize their kid?
Yeah, why you gotta be so judgmental, man? At least the mayor and Beast Morphers really kind of feels like he comes around in a really nice way, and they have a better relationship
He
in the
gets
second season.
taken over.
We don't really spend quality time together because you are a robot. You're a virus.
You are an evil robot that transcends dimensions and time frames and stuff like that.
Then you have Mystic Force.
Claire, there's
Udana, who is a ranger. But
He's a Solaris Knight. He turns into a ranger.
He's
a knight first.
I think Lily totally counts because Claire, Lily, and Phineas go to rescue Udana in that weird fever dream episode. I don't really remember. Toby.
He ended up giving Nick a job and he covered for the Rangers most of the time. Like at first, he didn't understand what was going on. They were disappearing all the time and whatnot. And then he was like, I think I finally get it.
Yeah, the fact that he never fired any of them is really kind of amazing.
I don't know any other job you can just say, here, hold this and give it to your boss and just take off. I hope he was like clocking them out immediately once they left.
You don't need like 5 employees at a record store anyway, so
you guys are just having fun and hanging out. That's basically what's happening. Unless he has a really bad organization system, and then that's why he needs 5 people. That was the job. They're hiring all of them to split it up, and in between they'll just do side tasks like sweeping and selling stuff.
I wrote down the Snow Prince too,
who
actually in the Sentai is a woman, and for some reason, even though it's the same costume, is way hotter as a woman. I've just found out by watching that season of the Sentai. I was like, why is this woman so incredibly attractive? Because she was
I'm gonna have to watch that season.
Like as the Snow Prince, I'm like, whatever. You're like a little princey dude. Anyway.
Why'd they change it? Why'd they change it for us?
They changed the gender of so many monster suits all the time because the gender norms in America versus Japan, there's like a lot of effeminate male characters. And then in America, we're like, no, that's a woman. Their lips are
so what you're saying is we have toxic masculinity here and they don't.
Probably have different toxic masculinity.
It's just not the way we do.
I know that it's there. I just don't know how to identify it because I did not grow up in Japan.
I've been to Japan once. We didn't even get to do anything. Stupid base. I didn't even get to leave. Thanks, Marines.
I've been to Japan once. It was really fun. Sorry.
I want to go. Maybe one day.
And the Mystic Mother. In the dark days, she was known as Rita.
It makes you think Rita's gone through so many different types of changes. Robo Rita, you got Evil Rita, you got Purified Rita, you got Mystic Mother.
I would love to know what Lord Zed was doing when Rita was the Mystic Mother, because they're totally a couple when the Z-Wave purifies them. Like they're on the moon, they're dancing, they're laughing, they like each other, they're married. So when she goes off to be the mother of all magic, does he visit? Is he dead? Did they break up? I wanted them to work out. Like I want them to still be together.
I personally, and this is just my theory, right? Because the Z-Wave made them good and stuff. Maybe subconsciously he's like, hey, she's going to be the mother of all good magic and whatnot. Maybe I should stick away from magic entirely because that's what corrupted me the first time.
That would make sense, but that's sad. Then what do they have to stay apart? Does she go visit him?
Or they could be together, and then I don't think he would do anything with magic.
Such a missed opportunity too. Like when Robo Rita comes back, I would love to see her interact with the Mystic Mother because they do exist simultaneously. And like when Zed comes back as a clone in Dino Fury, I would love to see him interact with Purified Zed and know like how they feel about each other.
I would actually love to see them interact with a different version of themselves. So like Dino Fury Zed versus the older Zed, like so Prime Zed and the older Zed, and they like look at each other and go, "You're a failure."
They're both failures, though.
This is true. The one in Dino Fury or Cosmic Fury got all of the power right at the end and then just couldn't have it.
Just fuck that up real good.
Maybe you should stop, man. It's just not working for you. That's why your skin looks like the way it is. You tried it the first time. It didn't work. And now you're trying it again.
Yeah, I just did a video about hot takes, and I think that was my first hot take was Lord Zed's not really a good villain. He never accomplishes anything.
He never accomplishes anything, honestly, and I don't think he really does any damage almost to anyone.
I feel like the most impressive thing he ever does is give Goldar his wings back, and that is the first episode that he's in.
A lot of it's just like, I gotta rest, I'm damaged.
Well, he doesn't have any skin, so I get it.
And that has to hurt on a daily.
We're moving on to Operation Overdrive.
We have Spencer, that's for sure.
Great supporting character. Mr. Hartford. She's more of a side character. Vela, what's his nuts, his girlfriend. She doesn't do anything, though. She just kind of is there.
Are there any more supporting characters in that season?
Norg? Kinda. He doesn't help the Rangers, though. He just saves Vela and then eats some flowers, and Spencer's upset about it.
He's lovable. I wish he wasn't a bad guy.
It's so heartbreaking. All he wants is for Florius to be his friend, and he just keeps being mean to him.
Why you gotta do that to my guy? It was an interesting season. Some of the plot was a little off to me. Mainly the fact that like Mr. Hartford was so defensive of his son and to be a ranger in the first place, just to find out that he was an android and he's tougher than everyone else.
He didn't want him to get hurt emotionally. He didn't want him to find out that he was an android. Also, it is kind of valid because he does end up like short-circuiting himself at the end by, I don't even know. I don't know why he did that. I don't know what his plan was. I don't know why it was necessary, but he does kill himself. I think that's maybe might have been Mr. Hartford's fear.
Because he's trying to power himself up so he can beat the bad guy, and then he dies and is like, ah.
I feel like he had enough power to beat him. Oh, I guess that brings up because the suit of armor tries to talk him out of it. What's that guy's name?
Sentinel Knight.
Yeah.
Centennial Knight?
I don't know.
Yeah, Sentinel Knight. Why did I say Centennial? I don't know. Leave me alone.
Turian Sentinel Knight. That kind of confused me. He's the sword, but he's also the glowing guy that protects the crown, right? That's the same person. I feel like that show's unnecessarily confusing.
It's very confusing. And then you go into like the back jobs of everyone else. Will's backstory is just all his job. The whole thing where he goes and kind of like pretends to betray the Rangers and just like switch back, and I'm like, why was any of this necessary?
Very questionable.
You could give him a different job, and I was like, or if you did, because you made him a different color. I don't understand.
Choices were made. They weren't good choices, but they were made.
And he wasn't a terrible actor on screen, and he did a really good job of covering his British accent.
Oh, I didn't even know he was British, so yeah.
You were at Ranger Stop Orlando like 2 years ago. He was there at the after party, and he did like a rap thing, and it was the worst thing anyone's ever heard, and it had his British accent on it too, and it was like, oh, show your boss, and I was like, what? And then he got really mad, and I think that's why he hasn't showed up to a Ranger Stop since.
Oh, what did he get mad about?
That everyone was like, what are you saying? This sucks.
Aww.
I didn't say boo or anything. I just was like, This isn't my type of music.
Then we have RPM.
Get in gear.
There is Ziggy's friend who is in the mafia that comes and tells Dr. K when Ziggy gets kidnapped. I don't remember his name, but he at least helps in that episode.
Ziggy was also a supporting character before he became a ranger.
Was he really supporting them is my question.
He was trying to keep the morpher out of the evil people's hands. That's a support in itself. And then somehow he becomes a ranger.
I love him.
He's a lovable ranger.
Then you got Dr. K, obviously, who should have become a ranger, as we've discussed.
Gem and Gemma before they morphed.
Because they're supporting Dr. K emotionally. Her own friends.
They also help with the technology, too. They're the Terror Twins to me.
Yeah, they're amazing.
The Terror Twins. If they show up to your fight, you better run.
Boom twins. Then Colonel Truman, who helps maybe twice. He shuts the doors every time they're open.
We're going to have the doors open until I think there's a threat. Shut the door. Just don't open them.
How do they get open so much?
Who's opening these doors? And then to know that they snuck in through the ventilations and stuff like that, and then they got in and like, okay, they can explain that.
Why aren't there security measures inside the ventilation system?
There should be a security parameter all around the entire dome.
They need a moat and some gun turrets. Colonel Truman always has that guy with him, Vasquez. That guy's a supporting character. Yeah. He has like maybe one word of dialogue an episode.
He needs his assistant to just be there.
And I mean, I guess the brother, other Truman. Summers Butler.
I don't know, but that just made me think of, what is it, Rose's parents with the diamond? Do they count?
Yeah, maybe. What did they do? I mean, other than they side with her at the end when she says she doesn't want to get married, but they don't really contribute anything to the Rangers' journey.
Not intentionally, for sure. They're just mentioned, but they don't support.
Yeah, it's kind of like Flynn's dad doesn't really lend any support to Flynn. He's constantly saying no to him until like that one moment where he's like, oh, you are a superhero. But I don't know if that's really support so much as like affirmation.
Yeah, it's like, what are you? I'm Scottish. The only Scottish Power Ranger filming in New Zealand.
Who is a New Zealand actor. I think he did a great job with the accent, honestly.
Samurai and...
So I haven't watched Samurai or MegaForce.
That's what I was gonna say. Samurai and MegaForce, I'm gonna be absolutely terrible with because I've watched them just once, but not actually to digest it. I didn't like it. I don't like the whole MegaForce concept in general. I like the Super Sentai version of it, but I don't like the MegaForce or the Super MegaForce concept. I've watched Samurai. I don't like the cast. That's just me. There's nothing wrong with their acting style or anything. There was just so much missed opportunity in that aspect of casting, mainly the Red Ranger. Like, why? Like, we could have had her sister. Her sister's perfectly fine. I didn't like his casting aspect of it.
Why are we so opposed to having an Asian Red Ranger? There's literally never been one, and that was the opportunity.
Perfect season for it.
I have no comment on Samurai or MegaForce because I haven't watched them yet. I'm working on it.
Good luck with that. Let me know how you feel when you finish MegaForce. Let me know if it's like vibing with you. No to the morpher entirely. It's just too much.
I feel so bad for the actors, like opening it and putting the card in. And I'm like, I think that might be one of the hardest morphs. And even like ones where you have to click them together or like put a key into it. That's just mean.
I would drop the card immediately, honestly. Especially in like a rush. When people talk about morphers, right, and they go, which ones are aesthetically pleasing and useful? That's completely unuseful. People hate the fact that Jungle Fury just has sunglasses, but it's so useful because, like, you don't have to do anything extra the more. You just steer it unleash. There you go. You don't have to pull out this thing that's like the size of this and then slap a card in. And it's also, where do you keep this, right? Out of nowhere.
Yeah, practicality goes a long way in morphers. I always am reminded by people that the in-space morpher, the little screen that flips up, has all the codes written in it. So you don't have to have them memorized. Whereas like other ones that have buttons, you're just supposed to beep, boop, beep.
Just, like, figure it out.
I know what this does. You could power through the last couple seasons, starting with Dino Charge.
There's so many energems, and then like people in the transition to get energems.
Well, so I would say more than any of them, Miss Morgan, since she's not a ranger for the entire first season. And just gets it in the last episode. Yeah, and Keeper, obviously. There's not anyone else working at the Dinobite Cafe of note. Anyway, there's not another character in the museum. They don't really go anywhere else.
It's pretty much everyone who's going to become a ranger additionally is who they interact with. Oh, wait. What is the fortune teller lady's name who gives Chase his black energem?
Oh, yeah. It's got to be Miss something.
I wanted to say Madame Leota, but I know that's 100% not right.
We could pretend it's Madame Leota. So, I mean, you got like Chase's little sister, and then you have Riley's older brother, but both of those people need rescued at some point, but they don't really help with anything.
The Kiwi board.
The Kiwi board. I want one of those.
Yeah.
The problem is there's so many Rangers, there's no other characters.
Let me go to the googly machine, and maybe there's just
I
a
mean,
chance.
Chase has a girlfriend named Hayley. She gets kidnapped and never helps with anything. Shelby has a best friend and a dad. Her best friend gets kidnapped after taking credit for being a ranger, so she doesn't help at all. Her dad doesn't help at all.
It says here supporting characters: Chloe Randall, which is kidnapped, Kaylee, Mr. Watkins, Mecha Voice, and in Heckle, besides Keeper. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Amber Beach's entire population is people who get kidnapped and or become a ranger. So I guess Ninja Steel, moving on.
And there's a lot. Okay, so Mechanic, clearly.
Redbot, the dog. There's one episode where Cody helps Hayley with something, like helps rescue her or helps her find her way out of something.
Dogs are definitely supporting characters.
Reminds me, we didn't talk about...
Oh, the dog from SPD.
Rick. We mentioned him. Don't come at us in the comments.
And he's very helpful because he makes good blasty blasts.
Yeah.
And he takes away the bad guy.
I don't think that the bullies at the school in Ninja Steel count as support characters because they
No, not a chance. They're not helpful and they're not a Balkan skull.
I mean, the dad, but he becomes a ranger for one episode. But
man, there's a lot of Red Rangers in that season.
3. It's great. Yeah. Well, same as Samurai. 3 Red Rangers in Samurai.
And then 2 in Time Force. Well, technically 3.
And 2 in Ninja Storm. Crimson, but
same. It's a different shade of red.
That was all I got though. Mick, Redbot, and Cody.
Do we count Levi's manager?
He holds the morpher for Levi. Is that helpful?
Yeah, it is helpful. That's what I'm saying. Like
he's helping on accident, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the little girl that Levi talks to when he's a kid, she encourages him to chase his dreams and be himself. Oh, that season has the Starfire Sheriff in it.
Captain Chaku? Is he in this season or is he in Beast Morphers? I can't remember.
Well, there's one in each of them. There's a guy in Ninja Steel, and he shows up and the bad guy convinces him the Rangers are breaking the law or something. There's also a princess from the Lion Galaxy who gives them their Lion Zord.
I don't remember what Captain Chaku is from which season.
There's a guy in Beast Morphers who's got part robot face, and he's all ashamed and won't go talk to his family because his face is messed up, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And so Nate wastes a machine he was going to use to turn Steel into a human to make that guy's face look normal because he's so insecure he won't talk to his kids with robot parts on his face. You could clearly tell I don't like this guy.
Because I remember Rory chasing him around. I'll never not remember anything Rory does because every time I see him, the Ranger stop, he's just wearing sunglasses and like, hey.
The Beast Morphers cast have fun at conventions.
I'm like, dude, you get around. He's like, I've been everywhere but my table.
I feel like that's what Christopher Kamen Lee does. I always see him in the crowd and never at his table. I'm like, then Beast Morphers, since we're already talking about it. That's the season of parents. You have Commander Shaw, Miss Reeves as the reporter, and Mayor Daniels. The 3 main team members, their parents all hold very important positions in like the town, which is just really weird.
Aunt, who owns the cosmetic company or whatever, another very important position, like a CEO.
I also wrote down Spinning Table Woman because I couldn't find her name, but she's the character I want to play in a season of Power Rangers. She is literally in every single episode in that control room with Commander Shaw, and she's at one of the little tables that like turn when they go into battle mode, and she always looks over at the commander and is like, I'm activating the Zords.
That is great. I'm activating the Zords. Let me spin around.
My chair moves, you know? She's in her uniform. She pushes a button. She has at least one line every episode. Well, the Beat Spots, Smash, Cruise, and Jack. We talked about Ben and Betty before, but then their dad. And I wrote down Blaze and Roxy, but I'm not really sure. Because in season 2, they're around, but I don't, they really help.
They only help a little bit, and that's at the end. Honestly, they wouldn't even need the support if they weren't a problem in the first place.
As good humans in season 2, though, like they get kidnapped. Roxy and Ravi have an argument. There's a whole weird fight between Blaze and Devon where they're like fighting over who's better. They don't do anything.
Blaze wasn't even set to be a Red Ranger. Like, we could already tell from the beginning.
Too fragile of an ego.
Could you imagine he'd take one loss, his whole team would collapse at that point. I'm gonna say Nate until he morphed because again he made the tech and stuff.
Dr. K is also a support character in Beast Morphers, as well as RPM.
You're right.
Multi-season support character. Well, the other ones are Rangers. I was thinking, like when Wes and Coda and Gemma come back in Ninja Steel, but they're all Power Rangers. So she's special because she's not even a Power Ranger. Also, the fact that Grid Battle Force has a computer just in a little side room that you can use to FaceTime someone in an alternate dimension
is kind of insane. Like, why do you have that?
That is wild.
How did it even get set up to have the computer to do that in the first place? Which means somebody from some other dimension or someone from here had to reach out to someone to know who to contact.
The transportal device. Who invented that? Did Time Force invent it in the year 3001? And how did they figure out the Dino Charge dimension and the RPM dimension were even there?
Honestly, I feel like Time Force wouldn't give any technology to anything before their time, and the only reason they sent anything back is to stop what went back.
Well, and I mean, technically, the Time Force Rangers stole the technology without their permission.
True. They stole it, and then they're like, okay, since you have it, go ahead and accomplish this task.
We'll send you the Zords, I guess.
And then somehow they return, which didn't make any sense to me. Like, Zords can, but they can't. Like, why was it such a struggle for them to go back the last time?
I have some questions.
Is it like an organic thing? You can't bring organic things back and forth without some kind of something?
Yeah, a lot of characters in Beast Morphers, which I think is one of the reasons I really like it. There's a lot of diversity of like different situations, different locations, and different conversations and character development moments.
And it's fun. There's so many like little side quests in Beast Morpher, like the e-bikes that used grid energy to run. They're like, oh, this is a good idea until it wasn't.
MorphX was a good idea until it wasn't. It was never a good idea.
Why would you make a facility that people would attack to take this energy? Just stop.
It's not like there was an energy crisis.
Figure out energy from somewhere else. Like, yeah, this energy is highly potent and usable. It's basically like nuclear fuel, right? It can charge almost anything and power forever, but like people really want it. Just don't have it.
Stop making it.
You can make a different fuel that isn't as powerful and just leave the MorphX to only the Rangers.
And then we move on to the last 3 seasons. Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury. There's a ton of characters in that too. I think I really like the Hasbro writing style of they have different places they go. I love that they have the jobs in Dino Fury at the news place. I guess it's more of like a website than a news.
Yeah, you got Jayborg.
Jane and Jayborg, Mrs. Akana, and the Warden Garcia. Because again, everyone's parents have important jobs.
And Mrs. Garcia.
Pop, my dearest, my beloved Pop.
Saved the day.
And Solon. Or in Cosmic Fury, Tarek is a support character.
Yeah, Fern was a supporting character until she morphed and somehow accidentally ended up on a ship. Accidentally on purpose.
My bad. The Morpher, too. Accidentally on purpose, Yeah. Worked out.
It was fated, and then they gave her one of the best weapons, a giant pair of claws.
I mean, Commander Shaw is a support character in Dino Fury because she calls to give them information about, like, Lord Zed breaking in and freeing Scrozzle.
Again, we already said Billy. Billy's a support character because he helps a lot in Cosmic Fury and then joins in a fight.
There's not as many, like, singular episode characters in Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury, because I think they already have enough characters. They don't really need
recurring characters that actually help out. Like Mrs. Akana is so helpful.
Oh my god, I love her.
There's almost no point when she's not helpful. It's just she's a little risk taker.
I would have freaking done things for her to be a Yellow Ranger. I wouldn't have killed anyone. I was gonna say I would kill for her to be a Yellow Ranger, but that's not true. She wore yellow a lot. She was fighting bad guys off with drones.
It was right there. It was like hinted at it the entire time. Because like people saw these hints from seasons before, like Dino Charge, where things like that hinted and then they turned into a Ranger. When the season was fresh out and people were talking about it, and they're like, oh, she might turn into a Yellow Ranger. And they're like, what about Mr. Garcia? He shows up a lot. And I'm like, it's possible. And they're like, what about Pop? And I'm like, if anyone should get a power, it should be Pop. If Ion didn't show up, you should have made him gold.
I'm gonna petition for Cosmic Fury Season 2 where it's just Mrs. Akana, Pop, Solon, and they're all like new Rangers.
Yeah, the other Rangers retired out and just started doing stuff. And they're like, we don't need to do this right now. So Solon and Pop Pop and whatnot are the only ones in town, and they get attacked again. And like, what do we do? And they're like, let's figure this out.
Grab the keys. I know what to do. The last supporting characters that are actually helpful would be Slither and Mucus in Cosmic Fury because they change sides and they're like genuinely killing it as good guys.
I remember Mucus got changed to human the first time, absolutely hated it, could not get with it, and then eventually came around. I was like, I could be a good guy, but also be Mucus. I like your human Mucus cosplay you did that one time.
Thank you. I love that cosplay. It's comfortable, which is always a huge bonus. I want more cosplays made out of things that actually fit my body because a lot of the cosplays I have that are the full body suits are pre-made and they don't fit super well in certain areas. And then trying to use the bathroom in a single piece with a zipper on the back is a horrible, horrible nightmare. So I'm trying right now to workshop like making the belt a centerpiece and have it be pants and a top, which I think I could do if I put the belt on the pants and tuck the shirt in.
So there's this website that Sparta or Justin showed me, the guy who makes suits and stuff like that, and he'll make them custom shaped. So I went to a tailor and I got measured and I sent that to the person and they sent me back a suit and it fits near perfectly and it has a zipper, a crotch zipper. So that's fun too. It's a Dino Thunder white suit. The only problem is I don't have a shield for the Dino Thunder white suit because the person I paid to commission it over a year and a half ago never gave it to me.
I remember that. I remember you talking about that.
The messed up thing is they live in my area, but I don't know exactly where. I got a bigger printer now, so I'm just going to end up printing a shield. But I paid them to commission the shield. They sent me pictures of it almost done and everything else like that, and I never got it.
Been there. At a certain point, you just got to let that go.
I understand it now. Not understand why he didn't do it, but like why people don't like to grab commissions from people often. Because stuff like that happens where you'll like pay people money for things and then get nothing. And even from the selling end, my end, I've had people start to commission me for something and pay a deposit and then nothing else. See, this is why people don't like to do things for people. Most of the raw helmets I have that are unfinished are from that aspect in itself. Like
commission work kind of just sucks for everybody because you can't really trust the person you're commissioning is going to do a good job unless you or someone you know has gotten something from them before. And then as a person who commissions things, people have no idea how much work goes into it. They try to undercut you. They have unrealistic expectations about the time. It's a nightmare. Lots of people don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
See, the only reason I did it in the first place is because I wanted to make stuff for me because I was cheap and I didn't want to pay anyone else. And then I met a bunch of people and they're like, hey, would you mind making me something? Blah, blah, blah. And then that kind of just like snowballed and just like kept rolling. I barely ever advertise any of my stuff. People just keep asking me.
You make good helmets and reliably will actually ship them, which is hard to find.
And that I try to stick price wise around like the competition, not just the competition, make them affordable for people. Yeah, clearly you can go and get an easy cosplay helmet for like $250. So I'll just do mine at between like $250 and $300 because one, I'm custom making it, and two, it won't be crap like easy cosplay.
I have one easy cosplay helmet and it gets the job done, but it is not nice.
I have one, the original one I bought, and I really need to throw it away, and it's awful. It's an in-space helmet, and it's not two pieces. It's just one complete piece. It's a dome. Yeah, the in-space complete dome helmet that slides straight on.
Ugh.
If Gumby made a Power Ranger helmet.
High praise for easy cosplay.
Since it was my first helmet, I hate to let it go. I tried to refinish it and I like primed it, and now it's just gray sitting in the corner with cracks in it. Maybe one day I'll just take a sledgehammer and go, let's go apple smashing.
I have a lot of helmets that I got on used sites that someone 3D printed for like a Halloween costume just for themselves and then wanted to get rid of afterwards. And so they were selling it cheap. And they're not the most polished things in the world, but they're helmets.
Got to get some more helmets under your belt, though, and some more space.
I have like a list. I still need yellow Beast Morphers helmet. I need a green SPD helmet. I need a silver RPM helmet. I need a blue Ninja Storm helmet.
All the ones that I really, it's not that I don't want to do, is I have to figure out a different way for the visors. I don't like the style I have for those helmets. Once I do any of those helmets, I'll probably outsource the visors to someone else, like to have them just print it in resin and send it to me, and I'll just put it in afterwards.
What are finishing thoughts? So at the top of my list, I wrote down my favorite supporting characters, which I have 4: Billy Cranston and Zeo, Boom from SPD, Fran from Jungle Fury, and Pop Pop from Dino Fury. I think those are like top tier.
So I'm going to go Pop Pop for sure. I'm going to go Billy, of course. I'm going to go Hayley.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go Mick mechanic. Although I love Dr. K so much, she's a little machiney, not like her herself, just like the way she thinks.
She's an amazing tech support character, but
Yes.
she's not emotionally supportive.
That's
Which
what I meant, like a little bit machiney as far as like her body language and tone. So like she's very helpful. Actually, nothing could get done without her. But yeah, I would say Hayley because she's fun and she's really helpful. That's not Dr. Oliver's tech. That's Hayley's tech.
oh yeah, she made all that in his weird underground cave.
Like, how did you guys meet? In this tech conference about Dino Gems and Power Ranger stuff.
It's kind of the same question of like, did Batman build the Batcave by himself because you couldn't hire contractors because then they would know you were Batman? Like, did Dr. O dig a huge space under his house to build that base in all by himself?
It's probably some like backdoor mafia stuff, where they just hired a bunch of people from like several thousand miles away, blindfolded, brought them in to do all this work, and then took them out and said, okay, here's your money.
I would do it.
Because, like, how else does it get done? Because, like, again, the Batcave is huge. And then Dr. Oliver's cave, underground, it's fully finished. That would take years. I mean, years if you did that yourself. Like,
Yeah.
of course, you can rent like a machine and dig all that out, but then laying all that foundation, groundwork, the buildings, the tech, everything, it would at least take you a minimum of 2 to 3 years to put all that together, just for it to be unsecure enough for some teenagers to walk in and take 3 gems
The
sitting
most
on top of a
important
rock.
thing. Take the most important thing. They literally just go in and take the thing.
The most important things and then walk out. We're going to get some good grades. That's where I wanted to wrap it up. They went in there and took those.
We're wrapping it up with the Dino Thunder team might need to do a little time in juvenile detention.
Because you don't walk into someone's house and take stuff.
Thank you so much for watching the video. Please go support Kev. He is Kevlock on TikTok and Kevlock Prince on Etsy. He makes fantastic commissions and he's a great person. Also, please like and subscribe. And if you like this video, you can check out my playlist, A Chat, where I have other videos like this. Have a fantastic day and may the power protect you.